If you had a shitty week, leave it all behind you. We have some more Darth Dawkins. On with the show.
Hence, effects, effects, effects.
Hello? You're muted? I don't know if you know that. Hello, hello.
I'm sorry, my microphone was muted. Hello, sir. What would you like to say?
You just want to explain your point?
Do you mean my prompt?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, God's existence is clear because everything in the world exemplifies ultimate design and intentionality, and it cannot be rationally denied, but it can be irrationally denied. And the propositional content of the Christian worldview, specifically God's attribute set that he has revealed, is exclusive. No other worldview has it, and it's indispensable for grounding all truth, reason, and intelligibility, and it cannot be rationally denied.
Appreciate that.
You were breaking up. Didn't hear what he said. Well, let's see if we can get some smart atheists in here. Don't get your hope up, so. Okay. The atheists, they just don't realize how their position is so untenable. But, confirmation bias can be a very blinding aspect. It's so funny that they think that they can falsify God's existence. How in the world would you do that? Love to hear that. The fine-tuned argument is very powerful, but it must be reformulated in order to be biblical. Everything in the world must be cashed out as exemplifying ultimate design and intentionality, and the non-acceptance therein is irrational. You can't offer the fine-tuning argument as an abductive argument. Is that actually me? No, that is that's a picture of Richard Dawkins. That is Richard Dawkins. How do I account for suffering? Very simple. God has decided to implement a temporal judgment upon the earth as a part of his plan of redemptive history. And we're not in a position to call into question what God permits during that short period of time. And when God's plan of redemptive history is over, which we're close to it now, he is going to rectify all things and cast into hell all those who refuse to do so. Why do animals suffer? Because of Adam and Eve's rebellion. Okay. And by the way, animals don't suffer the way we do. Okay. We have abstract reasoning about it. They don't. We have abstract reasoning about it. They don't. Thanks, sir. So nobody is in a position to question the fact that God has allowed the good, the bad, and the ugly during his plan of redemptive history. Appealing to the unpleasantries of life that God has permitted as a part of his temporal judgment and his plan of redemptive history, you're not in a position to call. Okay, let's see. Why is my computer so slow? All right, there we go. Be one hour. Be with you guys in a second. There isn't any. You cannot intelligently and rationally deny God. That is impossible. The human person on earth who can intelligently and rationally deny God. It's impossible. But if you're an atheist out there and you think you can intelligently and rationally deny God's existence, please come up. I would love to be corrected. Okay. But the atheists know that they cannot falsify God, so they play little games. From their alternative God-independent world. So their standards, their criterion is not sincere. So we have 33 people in here, and once again we see that the atheists themselves realize that they cannot rationally deny God. That's why a lot of the atheists on TikTok like to pick on low-hanging fruit, right? Especially when they can control the narrative, when they are the hosts of their own stream, and they can straitjacket their opponents. No, atheism is not a trauma response. Atheism is the product of a prideful rebellion against God. Against God. Well, come up and back up your statement, Cam. Yeah, come on up and back that up. You can't rationally defend that. That's what you atheists love to do. You like to do drive-by comments, but you never back. A biblical position that there is no neutrality. If you God-dependent world, then you're going to be operating from the frame of reference of a God-independent world, regardless of the fact that you might express that, oh, I'm unconvinced. So what? Everyone who denies God's existence, either directly or indirectly, is unconvinced of God's existence. Merely claiming that you're unconvinced does not establish that you're not denying God's existence. But that's what they get away most of the time when they debate believers. They're not confronted with the fact that their non-acceptance is a worldview counterclaim. Welcome, Scrim. What would you like to say?
Hello, Mr. Do I call
Before we begin, Cam, if you don't come up here, you're going to get... I'm going to mute you, Cam, okay? Because you keep on making drive-by comments. You're muted, not because I disagree with you, but because you refuse to come up. So when you come up, Cam, I'll take the mute off. I apologize, Scrim. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. Do I call you Mr. Darth or do I call you Mr. Dawkins? Call you Mr. Dawkins. Call you Mr. Dawkins.
Michael, you have background noise if that's you. Okay, so
You're a little bit muffled, sir. Could you speak up a little?
me, I'm right on
Okay,
time.
yeah, sorry. For a second,
I have my hand over the mic. So either it is the case that the world exemplifies and entail ultimate design and intentionality, or not. You got that?
yeah.
Okay. The world can be construed to be the product of of ultimate design, okay, and ultimate intentionality. Because the world does exemplify and entail ultimate design and intentionality, we now have an ultimate frame of reference or context within which we can have truth, reason, intelligibility, and facts, and a discussion of actuality. The alternative to that is impossible. So this is a form of transcendental reasoning with a reductio ad absurdum, meaning it's an objective proof, and it's proven not only by its positive representation, and its positive representation cannot be rationally denied. Okay?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, why is it the case?
All I heard when you broke up, why is it the case what?
Sorry about that. My food just came, so I had to answer the call.
Okay.
Why is it not? Why is it the? Well, there are a lot of problems with this. Why is it that? Why is it the case that we can't prove it?
You can't prove what?
Like the alternative, like without God, these like transcendentals wouldn't exist.
Because you don't have a worldview that is identifiable and defensible.
What do you mean by that?
Well, in order to have a viable worldview, you're going to have an ultimate causal first principle that has the attribute sets that can facilitate that it is known.
Wait, why should I even?
Can I ask you, Darth? Which religion do you follow? There's a lot of religions that have like God.
Well, first of all, you see where it says Christianity is objectively provable on the prompt?
I didn't see that.
Okay.
What?
Okay,
Like,
so Scrim, all right? In the Christian worldview, the self-revealing God, he revealed himself in and through creation and also through the prophets, ultimately in Jesus Christ. But we're going to take one step at a time. We're going to talk about God's revelation of himself in and through creation. God has constructed and designed the world to to effectuate that it exemplifies and entails ultimate design and intentionality. So only if there's a single causal first as the ground of all being, wherein it facilitates how things operate so that there's coherence, intelligibility, there's connectiveness, there's correlativeness, and we are to exercise reason and apprehend that the world is rational around us and that it indicates. Okay? So either the world indicates ultimate and intentionality or not. If you reject the rationale that I've just given, you're making of a God-independent world. But in a God-independent world, there is no ultimate frame of reference to be identified because your world is shrouded in ultimate mystery. In a God-dependent world where God is self-revealing, our world is not shrouded in ultimate mystery. Because the world reflects and reveals God by his purpose, we're not shrouded in mystery. Reject that the world is design and intentionality, and your world is shrouded in ultimate mystery. And by the way, you're not about to say that or defend that the world does not reflect design from the smallest to the grandest scale. What you're going to have to resort to is say that it's an illusion of design. Okay? It's obvious there's design everywhere. Even people who are atheists and experts, let's say in cosmology or biology, they resort to saying it's an illusion of design, not that there's no design at all.
Wait, what do you mean by design?
The world appears from top to bottom to be very to result in a high degree of functionality without that intricacy and design and meaningfulness. But
design and meaningfulness are like two different things. Like you can have a design.
When I say meaningfulness, is that only out of design can there be meaning. If you reject that the world is not ultimately the product of ultimate intentionality, then you're not going to be able to ground meaning and intelligibility for anything because you have no final frame of reference or context.
Well, I'm just simply saying that if it is the case that there was everything has an intentionality, what was God's intentionality? Like, who created God?
Well, that's a category error. God is not a contingent being.
Okay, so
that's like asking me, what does blue taste like?
That's just qualia.
No, that's a category error.
Sorry, yeah, what blue tastes like? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's a category error.
Yeah, but you
asking
never.
Listen to me. God is defined as the necessary being, not a contingent being. So asking him who made God, that's an incoherent question.
Wait, why is it? That's your claim is that everything.
If I said to you, listen carefully. If I said to you, when or what time did something that's eternal begin? Is that a coherent question?
No, that's just.
Is that an incoherent question?
That's just you're just making a syntactic.
It's not. The issue is not syntactical. The issue is it's an incoherent question. Do you understand why it's incoherent?
Because you're making a syntax mistake?
No, you've just repeated that, and I've corrected you. It has nothing to do with syntax. Syntax has to do with the word order. Okay?
Yeah, how you phrase it.
No, sir. No, what you're then talking about is a wider range of semantics. Syntax has to do with word order.
Sure.
Okay? Syntax is a subsection of semantics. Now, the point is this. You are dodging my question. If you persist in dodging, I'll move on to the next guest. Now, do you understand why asking when did that which is eternal begin, Do you understand why that question is incoherent?
Yeah, sure.
Why is it incoherent?
Because because I made a category error. But my question
Why?
is,
You're not answering my question. You get one more chance. Why is the question? Why is the question?
starting point or whatever.
That's right. And when we're talking about God as the ultimate, God as the ultimate, God, he's not caused.
Wait, why should I grant you-
Asking what caused God is an incoherent question.
Wait, why should I even grant you that?
Have a nice day. You're done.
Wait, hold on. Why are you running? Hold on. Like, why?
Because you're an idiot.